Myri. Today's episode, Toronto rappers now. What's going on, right? What's going on? Please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Talking about the current state of Toronto rap. Not talking about Drake, not talking about Tory Lanez, but they are the blueprint of Toronto rappers, especially now, right? So, what's going on with Toronto rappers? This is what's going on. No rapper that's out now is relevant to the American market, not just local, but relevant to the American market. They're big only in their city. Most of them don't perform shows because of ops. That's always the big excuse. They don't go out there to make a bag because of their enemies. So, doesn't make no sense why you're trying to be a professional artist. This is the music business, right? The most a Toronto rapper will get, and the ones who have the so called views and spotlight, will be on these blog pages, um, Keep Six Solid, Six Buzz. That might be good for some people, but if you really want to be successful as a Toronto rapper, you gotta break in the American market, get features, network, do your business. The only Toronto rapper I've seen recently breaking in the market is a guy named Sav 4X. Seen him on No Jumper. We've seen people in America talk about him, but that's it. Now, back in the days, hate to sound old, like Cardinal Official, Choclair, Socrates, and Ghetto Concept, they were breaking in the American market because we had a hub like Much Music promoting them and Rap City promoting them. But now we don't have a hub that the American market respects, right? We had American artists, they used to come here a lot, stop by a hub, and they would watch, basically they would know about Toronto through the hub, like the Mix, Rap City, and Much Music. We have that. We don't have that anymore. That's gone. We only have blog pages, right? Um, Toronto rappers right now, are they on the rise? No. Are they getting exposure through the internet? Yes, that's it. Through the internet. The biggest stars to come out of Toronto is Drake and Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez is in problems right now. He's serving 10 years straight. He lost his all of his appeals. Drake, they're accusing him of being a pedophile. He's going through lawsuits. He's trying to sue people, and the list keeps going. Like, our biggest stars are in problems right now. So, Toronto rappers now, what's going on with Toronto rappers? They're suffering. They're trying to find themselves. The biggest guy who's a drill rapper from Toronto who's getting the most spotlight is Top 5. Top 5, he knows how to work the social media, and he's the biggest one of them all. Top 5, right? Um, but in my opinion, the best rapper from Toronto right now is The Crook and Casper TNG. Casper TNG and his brother K Money, and like I said, The Crook. There's a lot of great talent that's in the city of Toronto. There's tons of great talent. We got a big bed of talent in Toronto as rappers. Uh, will we see a female Drake? I don't think so, right? We got Paris Richards, one of the top female rappers in Toronto. Who else? I can't name too much, right? Back in the days, we had a whole bunch. We had Mishi Me, not female necessary, but we had a lot of stars come out of Toronto. Mishi Me, Maestro Fresh West, right? Like I said, Cardinal Official. Um, we had actually a scene that was more respected. But now, when you're looking for a Toronto rapper to be big in the American market, it's limited. It's very limited. You got Pressa and his brother Bundog, right? They've been networking in America. They've been doing their job, but it's limited. I could count them on my hand how much people are getting respect from the American market. That's where it counts for rap or hip hop. I'm not talking about local, right? So, what's going on with Toronto rappers? There's no place, there's no hub, if you want to blame that, to promote them to the world. There's nothing. We have nothing here. Lack of infrastructure. The radio stations hardly want to play any of them because they're doing op music. A lot of these guys are beefing a lot of the time, so venues don't want to book them for no shows. They're screwing up their bag by doing this beef stuff, right? If you weren't beefing, you would make more money. The only guy who's touring in Canada is Roni. You don't even go local to other cities. Well, sometimes you see that. That's what I noticed. Most of the biggest rappers from Toronto, they leave to perform in Vancouver, Montreal, and far out places, not in the city, because they got enemies. But that's what they do to themselves, right? Bless up, bless up. They do that to themselves, right? So who you want to blame? You have to blame the Toronto rappers who want to make an image of being a gangster, right? Being gangster is not going to get you anywhere. You should follow the blueprint of Drake. Drake and Tory Lanez, you need some commercial hits. Sorry to say. If you ain't if you don't have no hits, you're not in the industry. You got to have commercial hits. That's what people care about. They don't care about how gangster you are. There's thousands of gangster rappers in America. They want to see your art, how good you are, right? So Toronto rappers now is suffering because of attitude, because of the screw face mentality, because there's no unity. That's the key. You look on Atlanta, unity. That's why Atlanta's so big in the game, over 25 years strong, because of unity. Some people might not like each other, but they feature on each other's projects. And yo, that helps the scene blossom and makes infrastructure. That's why Atlanta is in that place. New York was like that, and LA was like that, but they dropped to Atlanta. Now we got the biggest star like Drake coming out of Toronto. A lot of people ain't following the blueprint. Why? Why are you not following the blueprint? And Tory, commercial hits. You can't just make stuff about the streets. You can't just make stuff about the streets. That's not gonna sell. That's not universal, right? People don't care what's going on in Toronto. They want you to make commercial hits. That's how it works. So good luck to a lot of these Toronto rappers. The biggest ones is Casper TNG, right? And right now, the Crook. That guy I feel is going to be next up if he handles his business right, stays out of trouble, and gets out of here. You got to get out of the six. You got to get out of Toronto. You got to start getting interviews in America somewhere and networking, getting features in America. Being in Toronto is not enough. These platforms ain't helping you because they feed off of negativity. None of these platforms is helping any of these artists in Toronto in regards to being an artist, a rapper. They feed off of negativity. They're not feeding off of positive energy, right? That's why, yo, it's the way it is. And we don't have any hub, real hub, where people could get interviews and perform. We don't really have a real hub. We have online presence. We got certain podcasts that are out there, but that's not enough. We need investment for these Toronto rappers to blossom. It's like crabs in a bucket in Toronto. There's like only a circle, a few people who are doing well, right? But it's not enough for the amount of talent we have in the city. We should be seeing more success, especially having someone like Drake represent Toronto. We should be bigger and better in 2025 going on to 2026. We should be way bigger, right? But there's powers that be, and there's gatekeepers still around in the city, right? So, Toronto rappers now, what's going on? I could tell you, you got blogs giving you a bad name because all they want to promote is beef, make more problems, and a lot of you guys are just online beefing, and that's not helping. It's not helping. It's called music business, not music beef. Music business, you are losing. Yes, I'm talking about the Toronto rap scene. That's what I'm talking about. If you don't understand that, then I don't know. That's what this episode is about, is Toronto rappers now. What could we do? Try to unite. Try to do more features if you can. Try to work with each other. I know some people say there's bad blood. What did you get into this business for? To be in beef or make money? Let me understand. You got Mula, great artist, but his gimmicks is not helping him, right? It's just helping local. We don't see any impact in America. If I don't see any impact around the world from an artist from Toronto who's saying they're a rapper, you ain't doing anything. I'm sorry. Straight up. People might not like what I'm saying, but that is the real deal, right? So bless up to everybody, and please subscribe and like and comment, and don't be a hater, be a participator.